Let me ask you something real. What's the first choice you make every single morning? No, not what to wear, not what to eat. The real first choice. Do you stay in bed or do you rise up and go after your dreams? That might sound like a small decision, but let me tell you it's not. That single moment when your alarm rings and you're caught between comfort and commitment, that moment sets the tone for your entire day. Now, I get it. The bed is warm. The blanket feels like safety. And your mind whispers, 5 more minutes won't hurt. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Those 5 minutes, they become 10, then 20, then a rushed morning, then a chaotic day, then a lifetime of feeling like you're always behind. You see, the snooze button is not just a habit, it's a mindset. It says, I'd rather delay than do. And if you let that mindset win every morning, guess what? You're training yourself to avoid discomfort, to delay growth, to stay stuck. But successful people, they live by a different code. They don't let comfort decide their future. They choose discipline over desire. They choose action over excuse. They choose to get up. It's not because it's easy. In fact, for most of them it's hard. But they've learned something powerful. Success doesn't come from comfort. It comes from consistency, from control, from making the hard choice before the world even wakes up. Let me share a quick story with you. There was a time in my life not that long ago when I was the king of snooze. I'd set the alarm for 6, hit snooze until 7:30, and then wonder why I felt anxious, behind, out of sync. I told myself I wasn't a morning person. But truth easy just didn't have a reason strong enough to beat the comfort of sleep. Then I flipped the script. I gave myself 1 week. Just 7 days of waking up when the alarm rang. No snooze. No excuses. I didn't become a superhero overnight. But I did start to notice something. More energy. More focus. More control. And most important, lime pride. The moment you decide to stop living on autopilot, everything changes. Because waking up early isn't just about time. It's a declaration. It says, I am in charge of my day. I'm not waiting for opportunity in creating it. I'm not here to coast, I'm here to grow. That's the energy that separates people who dream from the ones who build their dreams. Look, this message isn't for perfect people. It's not for the ones who have it all figured out. This is for the ones who are tired of feeling stuck. Tired of hitting snooze not just on alarms, but on their potential. Tired of wishing life felt different, but not doing anything about it. So here's the truth, plain and simple. Every single morning, you get a choice. Stay in bed and stay the same. Or rise up and grow into who you were meant to become. You don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. You don't have to run 10 miles. You don't need a perfect routine. You just need one thing. A decision. The decision to stop starting over. The decision to show up for your future self. The decision to stop letting comfort rob you of greatness. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning. You sit up, no hesitation. You take a deep breath, stretch, drink some water, and just own the moment. No rush. No guilt. No chaos. Just clarity, calm, and control. That version of you, they're already on their way to building the life you keep saying you want. Because the way you begin your day shapes how you live your life. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait for next Monday. Don't wait for when you feel like it. Start tomorrow. When that alarm rings, don't hesitate. Don't negotiate with your comfort zone. Just get up. Even if it's hard. Even if it's early. Even if your mind says, just 5 more minutes. Because that small moment, it's where your new life begins. It's not about waking up early. It's about waking up to your power. And that starts with one choice. What will yours be tomorrow morning? There's a moment every day that most people never notice. A moment of peace, of possibility. It happens before the chaos begins, before the emails pour in, before the world starts demanding things from you. It's the early morning. And if you're willing to rise before the world does, you'll discover something most people never tap into. Power. Real power. Because in those quiet early hours, when the world is asleep, you are completely in control. No phone buzzing. No deadlines pressing. No one needing anything from you. Just time. Time to think. Time to breathe. Time to build. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had uninterrupted time just for you? Not for work, not for family, not for emails or texts. Just you alone with your thoughts, your ideas, your dreams. That's what early mornings give you. And that's why the most successful people in the world protect their mornings like gold. You see, morning isn't just a time of day. It's a mindset. It's an environment where your creativity flows, where your mind is sharp, clear, and uncluttered. Think about this. How do most people start their day? They wake up late. They reach for their phone. They scroll through notifications before they even take their first breath. Then they rush. They stress. They're behind before they've even begun. Now compare that to someone who wakes up early, drinks a glass of water, reflects on their goals, maybe reads, stretches, or plans their day in silence. Who do you think is more prepared? Who do you think is more in control? The answer's obvious. And yet, most people never experience that kind of start back hours they never give themselves. I want to share something I learned the hard way. There was a season in my life where everything felt out of control. Work was overwhelming. My mind felt scattered. My days blurred together. And one day, I read a quote that changed everything. If you win the morning, you win the day. At first, I didn't believe it. I thought I needed to fix my schedule, my workload, my stress. But it wasn't about fixing everything. It was about owning just one part of the day's start. So I gave myself a challenge. Wake up 1 hour earlier than usual. No distractions. No social media. Just silence, movement, and clarity. And let me tell you, that 1 hour, it transformed everything. In that 1 hour, I planned my day instead of reacting to it. I thought through problems instead of rushing into them. I started writing again. Reading again, dreaming again. That hour became my anchor, my sanctuary, my launch pad. And I started noticing something else. My decisions were sharper, my energy lasted longer, and I felt proud of how I started, which carried into how I showed up for others. Because the way you begin your day, it's not just about time. It's about who you become in that time. Albert Einstein used to take long walks early in the morning. Why? Because he believed that solitude helped him connect to his deepest thoughts. And it was often in those early walks that his most groundbreaking ideas came to life. If Einstein, one of the greatest minds in his story, understood the power of a quiet morning, maybe we should pay attention, too. Here's the thing no one tells you. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. and run 5 miles. You just need to claim the first hour of your day, even 30 minutes. Make it yours. Make it sacred. Whether it's journaling, reading, stretching, praying, or simply sitting in silence, give yourself time before the world takes it. If you've ever said to yourself, "I don't have time," I want you to look at your morning, because chances are you do have time. It's just being stolen by the snooze button, or social media, or distraction. And if you can take that time back, you take your life back. Imagine this. What if tomorrow you woke up even just 30 minutes earlier, and instead of rushing, you breathed, you thought, you asked yourself, what do I want this day to look like? What kind of person do I want to be today? Those questions are simple, but they're powerful. And the answers? They show up not in the rush but in the stillness. So here's your challenge. Take back your mornings, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Start small but start. Don't wait for your schedule to calm down. Don't wait until you feel like it. Take the time before the world takes it from you. Because when the world is quiet, you can finally hear yourself. And in that silence, you'll find vision. You'll find purpose. And maybe you'll find the life you've been too busy to notice. Mornings are more than minutes. They are your moment. Use them. Because the life you want doesn't begin someday. It begins the moment you decide to start your day with intention. So you've made the choice to wake up early. That alone puts you ahead of most people. But now comes the most important part. What will you do with that time? You see, waking up early doesn't magically change your life. What transforms your life is what you do with the silence, the stillness, and the space that early mornings give you. If you waste that time scrolling through your phone, if you let it slip by without intention, then you're not taking advantage of the gift you just gave yourself. So today, I want to show you a simple, powerful system to help you win your morning and in turn, win your day. It's what I call the 3-step morning framework. And it's something almost every high performer I've studied lives by whether they realize it or not. Your body is your vehicle. And every day, you have to start the engine before you can go anywhere. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest athletes of all time, had a rule: train before the world wakes up. He wasn't just working on his body. He was building a mindset of discipline, edge, and focus before anyone else had even gotten out of bed. You don't have to be a professional fighter to learn from that. Even 5 to 10 minutes of movement in the morning can change the way you feel and think for the rest of the day. It could be a quick stretch, a short yoga session, a brisk walk around the block, or just 30 jumping jacks to get your blood flowing. When you move your body, you send a signal to your brain. It's go time. You increase circulation, you boost energy, and most importantly, you break free from sluggishness. Because here's the truth: if you don't move early, you'll carry that heaviness with you all day. What's the first thing you feed your brain every morning? Is it negativity, news, notifications, or is it something that builds you? Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in the world, spends hours every morning reading. He believes the best investment you can make is in yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to read for hours, but what if you gave yourself just 15 minutes? 15 minutes of wisdom, 15 minutes of peace, 15 minutes to shift your mindset before the world has a chance to influence it. And if reading isn't your thing, try journaling. Thomas Edison kept detailed journals filled with ideas, thoughts, and plans. It helped him stay creative, focused, and intentional. When you write, you think. When you think, you grow. And when you grow, everything in your life follows. So whether it's reading, journaling, listening to a podcast, or writing down your intentions, choose to start your day by feeding your mind something that elevates you. Now that your body is awake and your mind is sharp, it's time to set your course. Too many people jump into their day without direction. They open their inbox and let the world tell them what's important. But Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential voices of our time, does the opposite. She starts her morning by setting intentions, asking herself, what matters most today? What do I want to accomplish? What energy do I want to bring into the world? She doesn't let the day control her. She decides how the day will go before it begins. And that's what I want for you, too. Each morning, take just a few minutes to map your priorities. What are the 1 to 3 things that must get done today no matter what? Write them down. Visualize yourself completing them. And then organize your time around those. This isn't about being busy. This is about being intentional. Because when you start your day with purpose, you don't just react to lead. You don't get lost in distractions, so you stay focused. Now here's the secret nobody wants to hear. You won't feel the magic on day 1. You might not even feel it by day 3. But if you commit 30 to 60 minutes each morning, and you stay consistent, everything changes. You'll feel calmer. You'll be more focused. You'll start living on your terms, not the world's. And here's the bonus. You'll feel proud because you're showing up for yourself. Be careful with how you use that morning time. It's easy to say, I'm up early, and then spend the first hour of your day on Instagram, email, or negative news. That's not intention. That's distraction disguised as activity. Protect that time. Treat it like a sacred appointment with your best self. Because it is. So here's your simple framework. Wake up your body. Feed your mind. Plan your day with intention. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a 5 a.m. club membership. All you need is to show up. Every morning is a blank page. What you write on, if it's up to you. Will you let the world fill it for you? Or will you take the pen and create something meaningful? Start tomorrow. Even just 30 minutes. Use that time to build strength, feed wisdom, and design your day before the chaos begins. Because when you win your morning, you start living with clarity, control, and confidence. And once you've tasted that feeling, you'll never want to go back. Let's get one thing straight. Waking up early is not a talent. It's not some magical DNA code that only a few people are born with. It's not a gift, it's a decision. A decision rooted in one thing: discipline. You see, the people who wake up early every day, the ones who train, create, build, and lead while the world sleeps. They don't do it because it's easy. They do it because they've trained their mind to value action over comfort. Let's be honest. When your alarm rings before sunrise, the easy thing to do is stay in bed. Your body wants warmth. Your mind says just 5 more minutes, and the world isn't calling you yet. But that moment right there is where transformation begins. Because every time you choose to rise instead of roll over, you're sending a message to yourself. I lead my life. I'm not led by it. Steve Jobs once said, "Each morning I'd look in the mirror and ask myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I be happy with what I'm about to do?" Let that question sink in. That's not just a quote, it's a mindset. A mindset that challenges you to live intentionally, to stop sleepwalking through your life, to wake up not just physically, but mentally and take ownership of your time. Because the truth is, most people wait for life to happen. But early risers, they make it happen. Take Jocko Willinka, former Navy SEAL, leadership coach, and one of the most disciplined men alive. He wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every single day. Not because it's glamorous, not because it gets him likes on Instagram, but because he knows that while most people are sleeping, he's building an edge. He's already moved, already trained, already thought about the day ahead before the sun even shows up. He doesn't chase motivation, he creates momentum. And that's the mindset of an early riser. You don't wait until you feel ready, you act. You don't need the perfect moment to make the moment. Here's what I've learned over the years. Motivation is a liar. It whispers when it feels like it. It disappears when things get tough. It's unreliable. But discipline shows up no matter how you feel. And the foundation of discipline is built every single morning. Waking up early teaches you something bigger than just time management. It teaches you to be the kind of person who does hard things. It teaches you to lead your time, your thoughts, your emotions. It teaches you to choose growth over comfort. Every day, you have two choices. Hit snooze and stay the same, or rise early and become who you were meant to be. The moment your alarm rings, you're not just waking up your body, you're casting a vote for the kind of life you want to live. And over time, those votes, they shape your identity. You go from someone who talks about goals to someone who acts on them. You go from waiting for change to becoming the change. Let me tell you something real. No one wakes up early every day because it's fun. They do it because they've tied that habit to something greater. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's productivity. Maybe it's healing. Maybe it's simply proving to yourself that you are in control. Because when the world gets loud and life feels chaotic, those quiet morning hours remind you, I've got this. I'm grounded. I'm focused. I'm becoming. And here's the good news. You don't need to wake up at 4:30 a.m. Like Jocko, you don't need to change your entire life overnight. You just need to start. Start by waking up 15 minutes earlier, then 30, then maybe an hour. But don't stop there. Use that time with intention. Move your body. Feed your mind. Set your goals. Breathe. Those quiet minutes in the morning are not small. They are sacred. And if you honor them, they will become the most powerful part of your day. So the next time your alarm rings, don't negotiate with your comfort. Don't wait for motivation to save you. Don't give away the first, most powerful moment of your day. Get up, stand up, and remind yourself, this is who I am now. I am a builder. I am a leader. I am an early riser. Because early rising isn't about being a morning person. It's about being the kind of person who takes life seriously. And when you wake up early with purpose, you don't just get a head start on the day. You get a head start on your future. There's something rare that happens in the early morning. It's not the sunrise. It's not the coffee. It's something deeper, something most of us don't even notice anymore. Silence. Not just the absence of noise, but the presence of peace. In a world that constantly shouts for our attention, silence is becoming a lost art. But for those who seek clarity, creativity, and true focus, the early morning silence is where the real work begins. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you were truly alone with your thoughts? No phone, no distractions, no one else's voice in your ear, just your own. Most people wake up and immediately reach for noise. The news, social media, text messages. The world's chaos hits before their feet even touch the floor. but the most centered, the most creative, the most powerful people in history. They knew the value of stillness. They didn't run from silence. They ran toward it. Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds who ever lived, used to take long, quiet walks early in the morning. He wasn't solving equations on paper. He was solving them in silence, because he understood that real breakthroughs don't happen in the noise. They happen in the calm. He once said, "The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulate the creative mind." And he was right. In silence, your thoughts finally have space to breathe. Your ideas rise to the surface. Your vision sharpens. Maya Angelou, an icon of poetry and power, had her own ritual. Every morning, before the world could touch her spirit, she would write in complete solitude. She'd rent a quiet hotel room with just a bed, a Bible, and her thoughts. And from that silence came words that moved the world. She didn't wait for inspiration to strike. She created space for it to arrive. And you can too. Even Mahatma Gandhi carried the weight of a nation's hope. Began each day with silence. He believed that if he didn't first center himself, he couldn't lead others with wisdom. That's not just spiritual practice. That's strategic clarity. Because when your mind is quiet, you can finally hear what matters. Now, let's be clear. Silence is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is a void. Silence is a choice. You're not empty when you're alone in the morning. You're full of thought, of intention, of presence. But here's the problem. Most people are afraid of silence. They fear being alone with their thoughts, so they reach for distraction. They fill the quiet with noise. Why? Because in silence, we confront what we've been avoiding. Our fears, our regrets, our dreams that we've been too busy to chase. But facing those things is exactly how we grow. You don't need hours. You don't need candles or incense or the perfect playlist. You just need a moment, a space, a breath, 10 minutes, 15. That's all it takes to reset your nervous system, to reconnect with yourself, and to remember what really matters. Silence is not a luxury. It's a necessity in a world that never stops talking. What can you do in morning silence? You can reflect on your goals. You can reconnect with your values. You can write, meditate, breathe. You can think deeply instead of react mindlessly. Because here's the truth. If you don't claim the quiet for yourself, the noise of the world will claim it for you. And you'll spend your whole day reacting instead of leading. So I want to challenge you. Tomorrow morning, before the texts, before the to-do lists, before the world reaches for you, give yourself the gift of silence. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Sit in a quiet room. Put your phone away. And just be. Journal. Breathe. Walk without music. Think without scrolling. Listen it to the world, but to your own thoughts. Because somewhere in the stillness is the version of you that you've been looking for. Morning silence is not about doing more. It's about being more intentional with the time you already have. Don't underestimate the power of just a few quiet minutes. Because in that silence, you reconnect with yourself. And when you start your day connected, grounded, and clear, everything else falls into place. So tomorrow morning, when the world is still sleeping, don't reach for your phone. Reach inward. Because the most powerful voice in your life is the one you only hear when everything else is quiet. If you study the most successful people in the world, the innovators, the leaders, the creators, the legends, you'll notice they don't all come from the same background. They don't all think the same way. They don't all work in the same industries. But they all share one powerful habit. They own their mornings. Before the world asks anything of them. Before the emails, the calls, the pressure. They take time to center themselves. To lead their day with intention. Their success isn't random. It's routine. Let's go back to one of the original greats, Benjamin Franklin. Every single morning, he asked himself a simple, powerful question. What good shall I do this day? He used that question to shape his actions, not just his tasks. He wasn't just organizing his schedule, was aligning with purpose. And that's the first sign of a successful morning. It starts with clarity, not chaos. Barack Obama, while serving as President of the United States, still made time every morning to exercise. He knew that if he didn't move his body, his mind wouldn't perform at its best. And think about it, if the leader of the free world can make time to train, what excuse do we really have? Obama once said his workouts weren't just about health. They were about discipline, energy, and resilience. That's what a morning ritual gives you. A physical edge to match your mental focus. Then there's Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, philanthropist, lifelong learner. Every morning, before stepping into the noise of the day, he reads. He devours books, reports, articles, anything that feeds his mind. To him, learning is not a task. It's a competitive advantage. Because when you begin your day with new ideas, you stay sharp, you stay ahead, and more importantly, you stay humble enough to keep growing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, bandy champion, Hollywood icon, governor of California, attributes much of his success to one specific habit: visualization. Every morning, before anyone saw his success on the outside, he saw it first in the inside. He pictured himself winning championships. He imagined himself in blockbuster films. He rehearsed the version of himself he wanted to become. And then he built it. Because here's a truth that most people overlook. You cannot become what you cannot first see. Your morning is the perfect time to envision the life you're building. Not the one you're reacting to, but the one you're consciously creating. You don't have to be a president, a billionaire, or a celebrity to build a powerful morning routine. All you need is intention. And the good news? There's a simple formula that you can start applying today. Let's break it down. 1. Wake up with purpose. Not 5 snoozes later. Not after you've scrolled through your phone in bed. The moment the alarm goes off, get up. That simple act trains your mind to act, not delay. It builds momentum before the world even wakes. 2. Move your body. Whether it's a full workout or just 5 minutes of stretching, move. Wake up your blood. Wake up your mind. Give your energy a place to flow. It's not about burning calories. It's about activating your day. 3. Feed your mind. Read. Listen to a podcast. Watch something educational. Learn something before distractions start learning you. Because your thoughts shape your actions. And your inputs shape your thoughts. 4. Find stillness. Journal. Pray. Meditate. Breathe. You need a moment each morning where nothing else matters but the present. This isn't woo-woo. It's mental armor in a noisy world. Even 5 minutes of stillness can rewire your nervous system and restore your focus. 5. Set your intentions. Look at your schedule. Identify your top 23 priorities. Ask yourself, what do I absolutely need to move forward today? Don't let the day run you. You run the day. And when you do, you go from reacting to life to leading it. Here's the truth. You already have a morning ritual. You just might not be using it on purpose. Maybe your ritual is hitting snooze. Maybe it's checking email before your feet touch the floor. Maybe it's rushing out the door with no direction. But you can change that. You can rewrite your script, starting tomorrow. So here's your challenge. Start building your own morning ritual and purpose. Don't copy someone else's blueprint. Create one that energizes your body, feeds your mind, and aligns your soul. And then repeat it, because it's not the one big decision that changes your life. It's the quiet, consistent ones. The ones that happen before the world wakes up. The ones you make when no one's watching. That eventually allow the world to see your greatness. Build your morning, and you'll build your future. Let's be honest. Waking up early sounds great in theory. But when that alarm rings before the sun is up, that's when the real battle begins. Your bed feels warm. Your body feels heavy. And your mind whispers, just 5 more minutes. And maybe you listen. But here's the truth. The hardest part about waking up early isn't the early hour. It's everything that comes before it and everything you believe about it. You've probably said this before. I'm just not a morning person. But what if I told you that's not a personality trait? That's a habit, and more importantly, it's a belief you've been reinforcing for years. No one is born wired to love 5 a.m. We're creatures of conditioning. And the good news is habits can be changed. Take Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. He wakes up at 3:45 a.m. Do you think he's just wired that way? Or do you think he decided to prioritize his energy, his clarity, and his leadership? He doesn't just wake up early. He goes to bed on time. And that's where most people struggle, not in the morning but the night before. They want the benefits of an early start, but they stay up late scrolling through social media, binging shows, or winding down with habits that actually steal their tomorrow. Here's the truth. You can't have both. If you want to rise early, you have to respect your sleep. And even if you do manage to get up early, there's that groggy, foggy feeling. You convince yourself, my body needs more sleep. But what you're feeling isn't always exhaustion. It's something called sleep inertia, natural state of grogginess that happens when you first wake up. Even early risers feel it. The difference? They move anyway. The secret is to get your body moving immediately. Drink a glass of water. Stretch. Open the blinds. Take a cold shower if you need to. Because once your body wakes up, your mind will follow. Now let's talk strategy. Here are a few practical ways to make waking up early not just possible, but sustainable. 1. Put your alarm across the room. This one's simple but powerful. If your alarm is within arm's reach, you'll hit snooze without thinking. But if you have to stand up to turn it off, guess what? You're already out of bed. And that's the hardest part. 2. Give yourself a reason to get up. Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Group, wakes up at 5 a.m. every day. But here's what most people miss. He doesn't start work immediately. He starts his morning with things he enjoys. He exercises. He spends time with family. He takes in the sunrise. Pleasure creates consistency. If your mornings are just a punishment, you won't stick to it. Give yourself something to look forward to. A book, a quiet cup of coffee, time to journal, or a walk in nature. When you love how your day begins, you'll stop fighting it. 3. Start small. Don't go from 8 a.m. wake-ups to 4:30 a.m. overnight. That's a recipe for burnout. Instead, move your wake-up time back by 15 to 30 minutes per week. Small shifts are easier to adapt to. Your body and mind won't rebel as hard. And before you know it, you'll be waking up an hour earlier without resistance. 4. Build accountability. Change is easier when someone's walking with you. Tell a friend about your goal. Text them when you get up. Use a habit tracking app. Or join an online group of early risers. When someone's expecting you to show up, you will. And the more consistent you are, the more your identity shifts. You go from trying to wake up early to being someone who just does. Look, I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. Waking up early is hard at first. You will have mornings where you don't feel like it. You'll hear every excuse your mind can offer. But that's not the moment to give in. That's the moment to get stronger. Because every time you get up anyway, you're training your mind. You're building grit. You're taking control of your life in the first 5 minutes of the day. That's not just a habit. That's power. So let me ask you again. Are you really not a morning person? Or have you just never given yourself the chance to become one? Because once you feel the clarity, the peace, the focus of an intentional morning, you'll wonder why you waited so long. And here's the best part. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to start. Start small. Start now. Start anyway. Because when you master your mornings, you begin to master your life. So tomorrow morning, when your alarm rings, don't hit snooze. Hit reset. Start rising with purpose. Not just to beat the clock, but to become the person you've always known you could be. What if I told you? The first 10 minutes of your morning can impact every hour that follows. That one small decision, how you start your day, has the power to create a ripple effect that touches everything you do. Your energy, your focus, your relationships, your confidence. You see, successful people don't just focus on productivity. They focus on momentum. It all begins with how they show up at the very start. Margaret Thatcher, former Prime Minister of the UK, used to rise at 5 a.m. every day. Not because she had to, but because she understood the value of preparing her mind. Before the demands of leadership came crashing in, she used those early hours to think, read, and reflect. That morning clarity gave her an edge in the most high-pressure decisions imaginable. She didn't wait for confidence to appear. She built it before the rest of the world even stirred. Admiral William McRaven put it simply, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. It sounds basic, right? But it's not about the blanket or the sheets. It's about momentum. One small win leads to another and another. You make your bed. You feel accomplished. You start your day with order, not chaos. And that energy flows into your next action. The ripple begins. Author Haruki Murakami, known for his deep, introspective novels, begins his day not with writing, but with running. He believes that physical movement opens the door to creative clarity. When I'm in motion, my mind finds rhythm, he said. And that rhythm carries into the blank page, into his words, into his art. Without that morning ritual, he says his writing feels flat. So think about this. What could your version of a morning rhythm unlock? Maya Angelou, legendary poet and civil rights icon, had a sacred routine. Each morning, she wrote alone away from distractions, in total stillness. That silence didn't just create space for her words. It gave her access to truth, to emotion, to the deeper layers of her story. And it's that emotional depth that allowed her writing to move millions. Her quiet start didn't just change her day, it shaped her legacy. And here's the beautiful truth. You don't have to lead a country. You don't have to write novels or give speeches to feel this ripple effect. You just have to start with clarity. Because when you begin your day with intention, you become more grounded. You make better decisions. You let not just your schedule but your mindset. It's not magic. It's momentum. The person who wakes up early and gives themselves space. They walk into the day with focus, not fear. They respond instead of react. They lead instead of chase. Because one solid choice in the morning sets the tone for everything else. Here's something I've seen time and time again. When someone starts their day strong, they don't just feel better, they perform better. They're kinder in conversations. They're clearer in meetings. They're more present with loved ones. And people notice. Your morning energy affects your evening results. Your morning mindset impacts the people you meet, the tone of your voice, the confidence in your decisions. It spreads. It echoes. It multiplies. That's the ripple. The ripple effect isn't about big wins. It's about stacking small victories. Making your bed. Drinking water. Journaling for 3 minutes. Setting one clear goal. Moving your body for 10 minutes. These aren't dramatic moves, but they are directional ones. They point your life toward order, progress, and purpose. And the more you repeat them, the more natural they become until they're just who you are. So here's the question I want you to carry with you. How do you want your day to feel? Not what you want to get done. Not what the world expects of you. But how do you want to show up? Because if you can answer that in the first 30 minutes of your morning, you won't just get more done. You'll feel aligned. You'll feel powerful. You'll feel ready. So tomorrow, don't just wake up. Wake up with clarity. Start your day with one simple, positive action. Stack it with another. And then another. Let the momentum build. Let the ripple begin. Because when you master your mornings, you create waves that move through your entire life. And the best part? You don't need a perfect routine. You just need a powerful start. Let's bring it back to where we started. Every single morning, you're given a choice. It's quiet. It's simple. It doesn't come with fanfare or applause. But it's powerful. You get to choose. Discipline or comfort. Action or avoidance. Growth or routine. And here's the truth. Success doesn't go to the smartest person in the room. It goes to the one who knows how to control their time. Because in the end, your results, your peace, your progress, your purpose don't come from wishing. They come from what you do when no one's watching. Especially at the start of your day. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to start waking up at 4 a.m. tomorrow. You just need to start. Start small. Wake up 15 minutes earlier than usual. Use that time to do one thing that moves your life forward. Not someone else's expectations, but your own vision of growth. Because that small choice, that quiet decision, it's not just about waking up early. It's about proving to yourself you're in charge now. We've talked a lot in this series about routines, habits, mindset, silence, movement. But at the core of it all is a belief that you are worth showing up for, that your goals are worth fighting for, that your peace is worth protecting, that your time, your most valuable resources worth managing with care. Because let's face it, no one is coming to live your life for you. No one is going to hand you momentum. No one else can build your discipline, shape your future, or create your meaning. That's your job, and it starts the moment you open your eyes. Imagine giving yourself just 7 days. 7 mornings of waking up on purpose. Not scrolling, not rushing, not reacting, but choosing. Choosing to begin your day with clarity and courage. For 7 days, wake up a little earlier. Drink water. Move your body. Breathe in silence. Write down one goal. Just 1 week. And I promise you will feel the shift. More focus. More control. More intention. More of the person you've always wanted to become. Here's what most people miss. You don't rise early to punish yourself. You rise early to prepare yourself for the challenges, for the responsibilities, for the life you've been asking for, because everything you want, your goals, your clarity, your next chapter, is waiting for you on the other side of that first step, that decision to stop snoozing your life away, to stop waiting for motivation, to stop letting days blur together while your dreams sit on the shelf. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. You're not trying to beat the morning. You're using it as a tool to become the kind of person who doesn't just dream, but builds. And that starts with owning the most overlooked, underestimated moment of the day, the beginning. So here's the challenge I leave you with. Tomorrow morning, choose discipline over delay. Choose clarity over chaos. Choose yourself, for the world starts asking for pieces of you. Because your time is too valuable. Your mind is too powerful. Your life is too important to live on autopilot. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do the right things consistently. And it all starts with one small, brave decision each morning.